Yes, then let's move to size font.
Thank you, Matthias. I'll share my screen. Hello everyone, I am Sashwant, the developer in Code RealTime. In this demo, I will cover latest improvements to manual layout and highlight added new features in the diagram. This is the state diagram of adder capsule. We have done some improvements in state diagram. Now we support resizing choice element, and it is possible to position the labels of choice elements and junction nodes here. And it is also possible to move the history node. So these are some of the improvements in state diagram. And the next improvement is now we support resizing in class diagrams for protocol and class model elements. Let's open the class diagram of this protocol. We now support resizing in the class diagrams, and similarly we can do in class diagrams of class model element. And we now also show the trigger operations in the class diagram. So these are the improvements in manual layout. Any questions till now? If not, the next improvement is now we indicate in the diagram with warning markers if any element was reverted to default layout, if it has any invalid layout. So in this diagram, let's make this wait for increment out of bounds by editing in the state diagram. Now we can see a warning marker added to this element, and when we hover over it, we can see a message mentioning that the state was reverted to default position because its XY coordinate is outside of its parent's bound. So we can just fix this in the diagram by moving. So this will fix, and if there is an invalid size, a different message will be shown here. It will show the state is reverted to default size because its width and height is outside of its parent. Here we can correct the width and height, and it will go back to normal. Similarly, we show the indicators for the edges also. Let's make one of the bend points of this edge out of bounds. Similarly, we can see a warning marker mentioning that the edge was reverted because it has invalid layout. We can correct this. And for suppose if the parent was too small so that its children were out of bounds, or it is under minimal size constraint. Let's make the computing state too small. Here now you can see the warning marker for the computing state. If we observe here, we can see that the warning markers are also for the child. In the case if both parent and child have the warning markers, it is ideal to first correct the layout of the parent, because the child will be reverted to the default if the parent is also reverted. So it is best practice to first fix the layout of the parent. So now we can see the warning markers are gone. We support the same in the structure diagrams. Let's move the log out of its parent log port, and we can see the warning marker here, mentioning that the port was reported to the default position. We can correct this. So that's all for this improvement. Any questions till now? If not, the next improvement is we have made update in the properties page. Now when we click on any element, we can see its element name in the properties page, similar to model RealTime. When we hover over it, we can see its qualified name. So this is useful because previously, for example, if you want to know the name of this choice node, the previous workaround was to zoom out and click on the background to change the preference and click show choice name to know the name of the choice. But now we can directly click on the choice and see what its name is. And now we have also added a selection tool in the properties page, which when we click, it will move the selection upwards in the container hierarchy. If we see, when we click, we can see its parent is selected. So this is useful if we want to understand what are the internal transitions that might be triggered when a state is active. So for example, now if we check here, we can see this particular internal transition may trigger. And if we go upwards in the hierarchy, we can see what other internal transitions might trigger. So this is useful in that case. And we have also another use for this selection tool. That is, if we want to change preference or pan the diagram, now we can see that the black background is not visible and we cannot click on it. We have to zoom out and click on the background. But now we can directly select the background. We can press shift and click on this selection tool and the background will be selected, and we can change the preference here. And we can also directly pan the diagram without doing zoom out or zoom in. Yeah, that's all from my demo. Any questions? No. Thank you. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, Saiswant. Next to demo is Siva.